Nice. Hello, everybody.
Hello, Venerable Sir.
Hello, Venerable Sir.
Okay, good to see you. I'm happy we can start today relatively on time. So everybody can unmute.
Sorry.
Oh, Tenza needs some time. Okay. So I know that Zoe is not coming. Who else is missing?
May.
May is missing, right? So maybe Miyake can tell in the Viber group that you are ready, that you have started.
We have learned.
So we're still waiting for Tenza.
Still waiting for stop it.
Cynthia, could you please not wait? Please go ahead. She may need some more time.
She will need some more time. Okay, so let's start right away. Okay, so everybody can unmute. Yamahang Vada. So today let's go in Burmese. Yamahang Vadamitam Vadeta.
Ama Bandi. Ama Bandi.
Aham Bhante.
Aham Bandi.
Titarane Nataha.
Itrani Nataha.
Piensa Tilan Dhamma Yasami.
Yesa Dilan Dhamma Yasami.
Anogahang Katawa.
Anugaham Kadwa.
Tilan Deta Me Bhante.
Tilan Deta Me Bhante.
Anukampang Upadaya.
Anukampang Upadaya.
Dutiyampi Aham Bhante.
Yambi Aham Bandi.
Titarane Nataha.
Nataha.
Piensa Tilan Dhamma Yasami.
Yesa Dilan Dhamma Yasami.
Anogahang Katawa.
Anugaham Kadwa.
Tilan Deta Me Bhante.
Tilan Deta Me Bhante.
Anukampang Upadaya.
Anukampang Upadaya.
Tatiyampi Aham Bhante.
Yambi Aham Bandi.
Titarane Nataha.
Titrani Nataha.
Piensa Tilan Dhamma Yasami.
Yesa Dilan Dhamma Yasami.
Anogahang Katawa.
Anugaham Kadwa.
Tilan Deta Me Bhante.
Tilan Deta Me Bhante.
Anukampang Upadaya.
Anukampang Upadaya.
Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Tamma Sambuddhassa.
Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Bodhan dharanam gissami, dhamman dharanam gissami, sangham dharanam gissami.
Bodhanaran Gisami, Tamadaran Gisami, Gisami.
Dutiyampi bodhan dharanam gissami, dutiyampi dhamman dharanam gissami, dutiyampi sangham dharanam gissami.
Judiyambi Bodhanaran Gisami, Judiyambi Tamaran Gisami, Judiyambi Tamaran Gisami.
Tatiyampi bodhan dharanam gissami, tatiyampi dhamman dharanam gissami, tatiyampi sangham dharanam gissami.
Tadiyambi Bodhanaran Gisami, Tadiyampi Tamaran Gisami, Tadiyampi Tamaran Gisami.
Taranagamanam pariponam.
Amapante.
So, Andrea, what is the first precept?
No killing.
Panatipada veramani kapadantamadiyami.
Panatipada veramani.
Valentina, what is the second precept?
No stealing.
Adaina dana veramani kapadantamadiyami.
Adenadana veramani.
Emily, what is the third precept?
No sexual misconduct.
Kame tumaisasara veramani kapadantamadiyami. Didi, what is the fourth precept?
Sir? The fourth precept is no lying.
Mudawada veramani kapadantamadiyami. Yamuna, what is the fifth precept?
No drinking drugs or alcohol.
No drinking alcohol or taking drugs. Okay, you could theoretically drink drugs, but I don't think that's common. So, no drinking alcohol or taking drugs. Durameraya misapamada thana veramani kapadantamadiyami. Tidaranena tatheng piensatilan dhamman tatukantura kitang katava apamadena tampadetha. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you soon attain the eternal bliss of Nibbana. Alright, so let's look at the stories right away. So let's start with Andre, story 109.
Article 109 in His Majesty's service. Once a bhikkhu's mother was sick, so he asked his friend to ask the king for some food, and it cured his mother. And some bhikkhus were talking about this when the Buddha told that this was not the first time he had done this. Once there was a queen of some court, and she was craving some food. So the captain of the birds and 8 others decided to pull a heist to acquire the food. So he distracted the chef, which had the food, and the chef dropped the food where 4 birds picked up the rice in their beaks and 4 other birds picked up the fish. While all the other birds escaped, the captain did not, and when he was brought to the king asked why risk his life. He said why, and the king was surprised, so he let him go, and the group of birds were fed meals from the palace every day.
Okay. But there was some breaking of the chef's nose, right? Can you tell us more about that?
What do you say?
As soon as the chef arrived in the king's chamber with his captive, the king addressed the crow. You foolish bird, you have shown great disrespect to me. You have broken my chef's nose. You have smashed my dishes. You have spoiled my meal. And you have recklessly thrown away your life. What made you do such a rash thing? Sire, Sumukha calmly replied, our king, Supatta by name, lives near Varanasi and I am his captain, Sumukha. Yesterday when his wife, Supassa, happened to smell the delicious dishes your chef was preparing, she conceived a great longing to taste the fish curry. Okay. So, let's continue to Emily, story 110.
Dhutangas 110. The Wolf's Fast. Once a wolf lived on a rock, but he was close to water. So one day there was water all around him, and he thought he had nothing to eat. So he started meditating, and while that, Saka transformed into a goat to test the wolf. And he saw that the wolf interrupted his meditation just to eat flesh. The end.
So Upasena was rebuked by the Buddha for becoming a teacher too fast. It's necessary to have at least 10 years of monkhood in order to be eligible for being a teacher. And so after the Buddha's rebuking of Venerable Upasena practiced very hard and he became an arahant. Do you know what is the Dhutanga practice?
No.
Dhutangas are ascetic practices, such as eating 1 meal a day, or living with 3 robes alone, or living only in a cave, or only in the forest, or under the open, without any roof, or what else? Or using only robes that were found in a rubbish heap, or not lying down, so the person then never lies down. The monk then just sleeps while sitting. So no lying down, not even in the evening, not at noon, not at night, no. That's pretty hard, right? I think it's the hardest one of them. So no lying down at all.
Is it possible?
Yeah, it is. Quite a few monks follow this practice. So they don't lie down like for 10 years or for 20 years or for 50 years. They never lie down. Yeah. You have understood it. You have understood it. Correct. You've understood it.
Like correct. They can sit down, right?
They can sit down, yes, they can sit down, but they cannot lie down.
I think I could do that but for 10 years, that would be
a little difficult, right? The point is about sleeping, So they can fall asleep while sitting. They can lean themselves over the wall, or they can sit in a chair, that's fine. They can lean over the back of the chair, that's fine. But they cannot lie down. They cannot, put the back, the bum, and the feet at the same level.
That seems more possible.
It's possible. You don't lie. Therefore, it's possible.
So they cannot lie down, but they can sleep while sitting, and they can lean over the back of the chairs, no problem. Yes, Tiri?
What if you had your head raised a little bit, and the rest of it was the same. That doesn't count, does it?
That still would be would not be following the practice. Yes.
Yeah. That's what I meant to say. I just asked anyway.
Yeah, it's especially about the bum and the feet. If the bum and the feet are at the same level, and the feet are and the legs are stretched, and the back, is reclining, too much, then that is breaking the ascetic practice. But no rule. There is no such rule for monks. There is no way how you can break rule, because there is no such rule. But it's one's own personal decision to do this as long as they want. They can break any time, and there is no punishment for that. Not at all, nothing. Really, nobody cares at all. So these are additional practices that the monks can follow if they want, and they can break them anytime they want, and they can stop following them anytime they want. No problem at all. And ideally, they don't tell anyone that they follow these practices. So, Yamuna.
So if you do this, it doesn't count, or does it count?
If you do a bet, well, monks don't bet. I don't remember seeing or hearing of any monk who would do a bet. Yes, Emily?
So, if a monk was laying about over 100 degrees, would it count as laying down?
Again, the feet and the bum must be at the same level. I think if it is over 90, so if this is 0 degrees, then this would be, let's say, 40. This would be how much? This would be 45 degrees, right? So if it is over those 45 degrees, then I think that would count as lying down. Would have to be leaning over something. Cannot be in the air. But if he is like this, but he's sitting on something and his feet are down, then it's fine. You know what I mean? But ideally, the monk would not be faking it, because he's following it because he wants to, right? He wants to avoid the so-called fourth posture. So we have 4 major postures: sitting, standing, walking, lying down. So the monk wants to avoid that one posture. So he is only sitting, standing, walking. Okay. There were also monks who avoid also the sitting posture for years. So they were only standing or walking. So they would be eating while standing, they'd be resting while standing. Yes.
Sleeping while standing?
Sorry?
Sleeping while standing?
Yes, sleeping while standing. That's not a problem. It's actually possible to sleep while standing. They could lean again, but not sit. So, but that's more rare. I don't know any monk who would be living in two postures, but we have that mentioned in our scriptures. Regarding three postures, yes, I know several monks who avoid lying down. Yes, Tiri?
Would you be able to meditate while standing, though?
Yeah, of course. We have meditation in walking, standing, sitting, and lying down. No problem.
Oh, yeah. It'd still be kind of odd.
You didn't hear about it, so of course it's odd for you. It's not odd to me. Okay, yes, Emily?
My mom told me about this story about her mom. She said that her mom went to a monastery and she saw a woman meditating laying down, and my mom's mom said that she would probably fall asleep if she was meditating laying down.
Depends. Each person has a different. Some people, when they lie down to meditate, they fall asleep. Some people don't. And it also depends on the time, like if you lie down to meditate, let's say sometime in the morning or later in the afternoon, you will probably not fall asleep. If you lie down late at night, or if you lie down at noon right after you had a big meal, then probably you will fall asleep.
Okay.
Any more questions? So far it's clear. There are 13 ascetic practices. All right. Some of them are related to wearing the robes, to the kind of robes, how the monk gets it. Some of them are related to meal. Some of them are related to place to stay. And this one is related to the postures. So Venerable Uposena followed the Dhutanga practices, and he became an arahant, and then he had a lot of followers, and then he was also quite strict on the followers. He required that they followed the Dhutanga practices as well. But the sitting practice was not included in the practices required by Venerable Uposena. That's something that I know from some other texts. It's not mentioned in this story. So then Venerable Uposena visited the Buddha, that's right. Then we learned that some of the monks followed the Dhutanga practices not because they would like it, but out of respect for their teacher. The Buddha liked that. However, there were many rag robes. I see. Then the Buddha told them the story of a wolf. Long, long ago, when Brahmadatta was reigning in Varanasi, the Bodhisattva was born as Sakka. At that time, a wolf lived near the bank of the Ganga. Ganga is a river, it's a huge river in India. One Uposatha day, as he lay on a massive rock, very near the water's edge, the water suddenly rose in a flash flood, completely surrounding the rock. At first the wolf panicked to find himself stranded, but then he thought, well, here I am with no food and with no way to get any. I may as well observe Uposatha. Uposatha means to follow 8 precepts. I did not explain to you 8 precepts yet, but most famously Uposatha involves not eating after noon. But it also involves not dancing, not singing, not playing musical instruments. It also involves not adorning the body by jewelry, by perfumes. It also involves not using luxurious beds and chairs. He sat down and made as if to meditate. So the wolf made as if to meditate. He did not really meditate. He made as if to meditate. The point is that animals cannot meditate. Always remember, animals cannot meditate. Yes, Andrew, you can go drink water. Yamona, what can I do for you? Yeah, I cannot hear you. You're muted.
I'm named after a river in India.
Yes, that's correct. And Tenza?
Is it healthy to not sit at all?
Depends. It will probably depend on the person. Then when Sakka heard the wolf's thought, he decided to test the beast's resolve. He took the form of a wild goat and appeared on the rock. As soon as the wolf saw the goat, he thought, well, I'll keep the fast another day. He leaped at the goat and tried to catch it. But Sakka evaded him and ran to the other side of the rock. Thwarted by the goat's agility, the wolf lay down again and thought, well, I didn't break my fast, so I will continue meditating. You see, animals are just so simple. Sakka then assumed his own form, hovered in the air and proclaimed, what can fasting mean to one like you? At the earliest opportunity, you were ready to break your fast. Your desire for goat's flesh was much stronger than your pretense of meditation. Then Sakka returned to Davatingsa. So this is a very funny story, but why did the Buddha say it actually? So the Buddha actually was not that amazingly, happy that Upasena was so successful. So Venerable Upasena, the Arahant monk, he had many students because he was very clever in talking. But the Buddha was actually not that enthusiastic about Venerable Upasena's success, because well, I'm not sure if this story is really related to that case, but the main point is probably that if we are doing something, virtuous, we need to be true into that. We should not just take opportunity to follow a virtue, and then as soon as there's opportunity to break it. So he got some scolding. All right, let's continue. 111 May. We don't have May, right? So let's continue by 111 from Tenza.
Jessica 111, overconfidence. Once two ascetics went to the same city. Both were extremely skilled in argumentation. They both argued, but because they were perfectly matched, they ended in a tie and decided they could produce clever children. So they lived in a hut and had 5 daughters and 1 son. Once they grew up, the parents told them that if a layman beat them in debate, they would marry them, but if an ascetic beat them, join their order. So when the parents died, the daughters went to other cities and the son stayed. So when they went to the city, an ascetic challenged them, and the ascetic won. So the daughters joined him and became an arhat. And some monks talked how the ascetic did this, and the Buddha heard and told the story of the past of how 2 kings fought and 2 devas and 1 won.
And who won?
One of the other kings won.
Well, one of the 2 kings won. Why?
Because the other king was being a little too overconfident, the other king asked the monk about the thing. So one of the other kings, the monk asked Saka who would win, and Saka said this king would win, and then the king asked the monk who would win, and then the king became really confident, but he never asked about the omen that there was. So the other king asked about the omen, and there's going to be 2 bulls, and they're devas. So for each side, and then only the kings could see the bulls. So the other king decided to shoot spears, and his soldier also shot the spears where that spear was at, and then the bull ended up dying. So the king thought oh no, we're gonna fail. So he decided to retreat, and then the other king won.
So the king who had to win actually lost. Yeah. This is a very important point. Yeah, I know this story also from previous time. This story shows you that if you go to listen to astrologer or to to listen to some prediction of the future, like from the cards or from zodiac and so on, then you may get too much overconfident. And when you get too much overconfident, you will not try. And in the end, you lose. So then why would you be going to hear this prediction? If you hear from them that you will lose your enthusiasm, because you think, oh, I will lose anyway, so why should I try? And if you hear that you will win, well, then you feel, okay, so I will win, so why should I try? So whatever you find out, it will lead you to laziness. Some people in Myanmar do this with a stone to check whether they will pass an exam. So they will go to the Buddha, they will offer some flowers and some perfume or something to the Buddha, and then they say, oh Buddha, then there is a stone at the Buddha statue. They weigh the stone, check by their hands how heavy it is, and then they say, oh Buddha, if I succeed in this exam, may this stone be extremely, extremely heavy. And if I do not succeed in this exam, may it be very light. And then they check the stone. And sometimes it is very, very heavy that they cannot really carry it. You know, previously they checked the stone by themselves and it was easy. Now, after they ask the Buddha, to give them answer, it doesn't work. They cannot lift it. So that's what they do in Myanmar. But it's totally useless, because whether you pass or not pass, you need to work hard. You need to learn. Okay, Andre, yes, you can drink, but it's maybe better if you always have some bottle with water, close to you, so that you don't have to go away. You see, I have a bottle of water here right next to me. So if I need to drink.
I drank the water.
You already drank the water. Okay.
You told me to.
So then let's continue. Story 112, Tiri.
Once a man was the king. The king was in danger. Then a different man helped the king. The king gave half the kingdom to him, and the soldiers were confused because they didn't know that.
Can you read that again? That was very short.
It was 5 sentences, but I guess it was so short. Once a man was the king, and then the king was in danger. Then another man helped him. And then after that, the king gave half of the kingdom to that man. And the soldiers were confused because they didn't know that the other man saved him.
I see, okay. So, Valentina, can you tell us how did you note it?
Okay. Jataka number 112, the great horseman. Long ago, the Bodhisattva was a very generous king of Kasi, but one day there was a disturbance at the frontier, so the king led his army to quell it. But one night, the king and his army were forced to scatter. The king found himself alone and came to a border village the next morning, but everybody got scared of him, so they ran off. But one man greeted him, and the king told him who he was, so the man led the king to his house and treated his guests generously with food and a bed, and even took care of his horse. One day, the king said that he must be off now, and told the man where his house is and to ask the porter of Maha Asaroha, and he will show him to the king's house. When the king returned, he told the porter that a man from a border village will come and ask for Maha Asaroha, and he shall bring him immediately to the king's house. Time went by, but the man still didn't show up, so the king increased taxes on the village, but he still didn't show up. Because of these taxes, the villagers forced him to go visit him, and he agreed to. He prepared some gifts for the king and set off. When he got there, the king embraced him and summoned the queen and asked her to wash his feet. They then ate what he brought, and the man offered the rest of the gifts, and the king offered him some gifts as well. The king ordered his servants to give the man a nice bath, and then after that, the king gave the man the royal white umbrella, testifying that he was giving this man half of his kingdom. They then ruled the kingdom in perfect harmony, and their friendship was great. But the courtiers were concerned that the king gave half of his kingdom to a random stranger, so they asked the prince to address his father about this situation. When he told his father to stop this nonsense, the king replied to him that he was in a small border village and he was almost dead, but then the kind man came along, so he isn't. He then told his son that if a man gives gifts to those who are unworthy, but gives nothing to the deserving, When the man is in trouble, he will find no one to help him. When the prince reported to the courtiers what his father had told him, they paid respects to the king and his friend. Having concluded the story, the Buddha identified as the king, and Ananda was the kind man from the village.
Okay, nice. Thank you very much. It's definitely a very long summary, but it's clear what the story is about. All right, so Yamona, 130.
Dad, I need help. I can't get to my story.
Still cannot find it?
I can't.
Okay. So you can read it for us from here.
In complete secrecy. In the Buddha time, there were 500 bhikkhus who tried to become lay secretly. The Buddha said that wrongdoing cannot be kept secret. Then he told the story of the past. Long ago, the Bodhisattva was born into a Brahmin family. When he was the proper age, he was sent to study with the teacher who had 500 students. When his daughter was ready for marriage, the teacher told his students that if they want to marry his daughter, they had to steal anything of value in complete secret. The Bodhisattva refused to steal, and the teachers asked why. The Bodhisattva said that any wrongdoing cannot be in complete secret. The teacher said he didn't need things of value. In fact, he needed a man who told the truth. He had his daughter married to Bodhisattva, and he told his students to return the stolen gifts.
Okay. Okay, you see, they had weird manners in the Buddha's time. They would ask men to steal things to find out the proper husband for their daughter. All right, so we don't have Sui, and that's it. So let's invite. Did I miss out somebody? No? Okay. So let's invite the rest. So I think Denza can call Sanyinyasa. All right. So what shall we do? Shall we wait? So let's see if Yasa is coming. Is Yasa on the way?
Yes.
Great. So we can sit in a comfortable meditation posture. Make sure your back is erect. Side cast down. And we can make the first determination in our minds voicelessly. From now on, for 15 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. From now on, for 15 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. From now on, for 15 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. And we can gently, lovingly notice the flat piece of flesh at the top of the head. We allow it to be heavy and changing. We continue to the forehead, eyes, nose, lips, chin, cheeks, ears, back of the head, we allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the head to be heavy and changing. We continue to the neck, shoulders, arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, palms, fingers, tips of fingers, chest, abdomen, back, we allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the upper part of the body to be heavy and changing. And let's do the cycle again. We start at the top of the head. We continue to the forehead, eyes, nose, lips, chin, cheeks, ears, back of the head. We allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the head to be heavy and changing. We continue to the neck, shoulders, arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, palms, fingers, tips of fingers, chest, abdomen, back, we allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the upper part of the body to be heavy and changing. We continue to the buttocks, thighs, knees, calves, heels, soles, toes, tips of toes. We allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the body to be heavy We allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the body to be heavy and changing. And we allow all of the body to be changing. And as we give freedom to the body to be the way it is, we ourselves achieve freedom from worry about the body. So let's watch this freedom. Let's enjoy this peace. Now let's share our peace with other living beings. May all beings in this room be in peace. May all beings in this building be in peace. May all beings in this city or village be in peace. May all beings in this country be in peace. May all beings on this planet be in peace. May all beings, including me, be in peace. Now, because the time for this sitting is finished, let's make the last determination in our minds voicelessly. From now on, I will always be calm. From now on, I will always be calm. From now on, I will always be calm. And with that determination, we can slowly, mindfully change the way of our sitting. You can take one more minute to enjoy the peace we gained in meditation. Alright. So everybody can come close to your camera. Let's move on in our Agatha recitation. So you can unmute everyone and we can start. Excuse me.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
In order that all of the faults, sabbadosa,
In order that all of the faults of dosa
done by body, kaya kamma,
Done by body,
kaya kama,
speech, vachi kamma,
speech,
Vachikama,
chikama,
or mind, mano kamma disappear,
or
her mind
mind,
not disappear.
koma, disappear.
for the first time, for the second time, for the third time, patamadutiya tatiya,
for the
First time, for the second time, for the third time, Patamadudiya,
completing 3 times,
Completing 3 times.
completing 3 times.
I respectfully and humbly pay respect and worship
I respectfully and humbly pay respect and worship
the jewel of Buddha, the jewel of Dhamma, the teachings,
the
the
jewel
jewel of Buddha, the jewel of Dhamma,
the teachings,
and the jewel of Sangha, the community of monks,
and
the
the
jewel
jewel
of
of Sangha, the community of monks,
the 3 jewels, Venerable Sir.
3
jewels, Venerable Sir.
Due to the intentional action, Kamma Chetana,
due
due
to
to the intentional action, Dhamma Cetana,
Kama
and goodness of paying respect.
And goodness of paying respect.
May I be liberated and free from all
May I
be liberated
and free from all.
4 realms of woe,
4 realms of woe,
3 periods of disaster,
3 periods of
disaster,
the 8 wrong destinations.
the 8 wrong destinations.
So now let's move on to the Burmese. Okata, okata, okata.
Okata.
Kayakam, wasikam, manokam.
Manogan.
Tabbadota. Katain do apidogo.
Pitogo.
ပျောက်ပါစေခြင်းအကျိုးငှာ
Chunga.
ပထမဒုတိယတတိယတစ်ကြိမ်နှစ်ကြိမ်သုံးကြိမ်မြောက်အောင် ဖျားယတနာတရားယတနာသင်္ခါယတနာယတနာမြတ်သုံးပါးတို့ကို အယုအသေးအလေးအမြတ်လက်အုံမိုး၍ ရှိခိုးပူဇော်ပူးမြော်မှန်လျှော့ကတော့ပါဤအရှင်ဖျားကတော့ရာတော့ကောင်းမှုကင်စေတနာတို့ကြောင့်အပယ်လေးပါးကတ်သုံးပါးရပ်ပြေရှိပါးယန္တုမျိုး၅ပါးဝိပတ္တိတရား၄ပါးဗျတနာတရား၅ပါးတဏမျိုး96ပါးမိစ္ဆာဒိဋ္ဌိ62ပါးတို့မှာအခါခတ်သိမ်းကံလုံးငြိမ့်သည်ဖြစ်၍မတ္တရားဖို့တရားနိဗ္ဗာန်ချမ်းသာတရားတော်မြတ်ကိုရာရာပါလို့ဤအရှင်ဖျား Well, so did I already explain to you the first 4 wrong destinations? So you have written it, birth in hell, as an animal, as a ghost, as a non-percipient being. We talked about that, right? So today we are going to talk about the remaining 4. So hopefully everybody has their notebook, because right now you will need it. Okay, very well. So remember to write the date. Today is August 27. No, for you it's 26. 26, 2023. All of you have August 26. So first you write August 26, 2023, and then you can write the note as is in the chat box. As soon as you have finished, please raise your hand. As soon as you have finished, please remember to raise your hand. So I'm still waiting until you finish. Okay, so we're still waiting for Emily and Yamona. Yamona, how much remains? One line, 2 lines?
Only one.
1 line, okay. And Emily?
I'm almost done with the 6th one.
Oh, with the 6th one, yeah, I see. Okay, so I will paste it in Viber, and you will you need to continue after we finish. Otherwise, you cannot do anything. So I wanted to explain. Pacyantarika Niraya is a very special world, which is specific by the fact that it is dark. All right. In Buddhism, we believe that the world has an edge. Now, where could that edge be? If you take a ball and somebody will ask you, where is an edge on the ball? What will you answer? Probably everywhere.
Everywhere the edge on the ball?
Yeah, everywhere or nowhere. Depends on how what do you understand under the word edge. Okay, so that's a problem. So if our planet is like a ball, it's also known as a little blue marble, well then, it's a little hard to find an edge, right? But maybe there is a portal, there's like a door, a spiritual door through which people who have high psychic powers, they can go through that, and they will appear in a different world, which however has an edge. I don't know. I'm still seeking an answer. Yes, Andre?
Well, technically, the world could have an edge based on where you are and when you are, because, if we take Understanding from Flatland, which is a book that understands how we could perceive the 4D, maybe part of it in the 4D realm is 2D. Sorry to explain.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. But probably not. Probably that's not the way, because our scriptures do not describe it that way. But it is possible that there is some spiritual door, and through that spiritual door, you can come to a different kind of world where our world appears as an island. But as soon as you approach the island, you actually happen to move through the spiritual door into the universe in the way we know it. Yes, Tenzan?
Can we lower our hands?
Florence, did you write the note that I have posted? Okay, yes. So everybody can lower their hands. Yes. Anything else? Yes, Andre? Is that a question? No? Anyone else?
Wait, I have a question. So, could they be like the islands? So, what if they already exist in this world, but they exist in differently? So, there are pockets of the universe, but we can't go there because we need certain rules to go there. So, pi has to be equal to 3.1 for blah 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 blah. But in that world, pi is something else.
Yes.
I don't know.
10 o'clock? Okay, let's. Yes, okay, so let's get out. Okay. So then, that's hard to tell. Everything we will try to find as an explanation will be just our own conjectures. Who knows what is the word conjecture? Conjecture means your own idea. Conjecture means your own idea, okay? So we need to be very careful. So this is Pachantarika Niraya. Then birth as a fool who cannot understand Dhamma. I think that's clear. Then we have the wrong view. Yes, there are various wrong views. We have altogether 14 wrong views. What you have there is a summary of that, simplification, simplified. And then 8, birth in time and place where the Buddha's teachings is not available. For example, in Arabia or in Borneo. In the island Borneo today, monks are prohibited to come. Nobody's allowed who is not a Muslim to enter the country. Yeah, there are countries like that. Or Mecca, if you want to go to Mecca in Arabia. Not sure about Borneo, there's a little complicated. But with Mecca, it's sure. You cannot enter Mecca if you are not a Muslim. Suppose you are born in Mecca. Is there any way how you can become a Buddhist? No. Do you think you will hear about Buddhism if you live in Mecca? Probably not. Yes, Tiri?
What if you just visited a different country and then heard about it and then just moved there later on?
I cannot hear you well. Can you come closer?
What if you just visited a different country for maybe vacation or something, I don't know. And then when you came back, you heard about Buddhism. When you went there, you heard about Buddhism, and then when you came back, you decided that you wanted to be a Buddhist and then moved there.
Yeah, theoretically you can, but if you never heard about Buddhism, how will you do that?
Venerable Sir,
Yeah.
I have a question.
And not everybody travels, Tiri. It's not like us, who live the life of the richest people in the world. Normal people are not able to travel. They cannot travel to other countries because they don't have money for that. Yes, Andre?
I have a question. By any means, like maybe internet, maybe just by hearing it, maybe by learning it in school. What if the person wants to change their religion? Because people want to do that.
Yeah, if they change their religion, they probably have to go to a different country.
Oh wow, that's harsh.
They're not following the rules. They're not following the rules of a Muslim. But it's not just in Arabia, but it's in many other countries, and it's not just about Islam. It's also about other religions. So sometimes there may be even villages. I'm not sure if there are, but it is possible that there are also Buddhist communities. Where if you become a Christian or a Muslim, you have to go away, or people will not be talking with you, or they will make you some troubles. So it's a little difficult with religions. That's why there are people in the world who say religions are the cause of suffering in the world. So they don't follow any religion at all. That's also a little weird, right? So whatever you do, it has its pros and cons. Yes, Tiri?
Wouldn't not following a religion be considered another religion of following whatever you think is following your judgment?
The point of not following any other religion is that you have a freedom to change any idea anytime you want, regardless of anything at all. Whereas in religion, you cannot really change your idea anytime you want. You need to follow the scriptures, or that you're doing something wrong, so somebody else can come and blame you. In non-religion, this is not so. In non-religion, you can believe or do whatever you want, or not do whatever you want, if it doesn't harm others, if it is according to the law, Okay, so any questions about the second 4 wrong destinations? They are wrong because they do not lead you towards the right thing, that means towards enlightenment. And they are also wrong because they lead towards suffering. All right, so I think that's more than enough. So I would like to ask the preteens, if you want to go, you can. It was a pleasure to see everybody. May you be happy, may you be healthy. Yamona has some question?
Oh, never mind.
Let me know. What is it?
My mom's not here, but she wants to talk to you. I was going to tell you that, but then I remembered my mom wasn't here.
So do you think your mom will be available after about 15 minutes?
My mom, she can just talk to you after next class.
After next class? Well, that's next week.
I know.
And now she's gone? No more available in your home?
No, because she went somewhere with my mom.
Your mom went somewhere with your mom?
No, my mom went somewhere with my aunt.
With your aunt. Okay, that makes more sense. Nice. Okay, whatever. Well, I'm available in Viber, so if your mom has something to tell me, just let me know by Viber. It's better. Okay? Will you remember to tell your mom? Okay, that's much better. All right, so may you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you be successful in everything you do.
Bye.
Bye, Venerable Sir.
That's good one. All right, so let's start with precepts. So I would like to ask everyone to unmute. Yamahang Vada, and today let's do in Burmese. Yamahang Wadami Tam Wadeta. Aham Bhande.
Aham Bhante.
Tidaranena Taha.
Tidaranena Taha.
Piensa Tilan Dhamaya Sami.
Tilan Dhamaya Sami.
Anogahang Katawa.
No.
Tilan Deta Me Bhante. Anukampang Upadaya.
Anukampang
Dutiyampi Aham Bhante. Tidaranena Taha. Piensa Tilan Dhamaya Sami. Anogahang Katawa. Tilan Deta Me Bhante. Anukampang Upadaya. Tatiyampi Aham Bhante. Tidaranena Taha. Piensa Tilan Dhamaya Sami. Anogahang Katwa. Tilan Deta Me Bhante. Anukampang Upadaya. Namo Tatta Bhagavato Arahato Tamma Sambuddhassa.
Namo Tassa Bhagavato Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato
Buddhan Dharanang Gissami, Dhamman Dharanang Gissami, Sanghan Dharanang Gissami.
Buddhan Dharanang Gissami, Dhamman Dharanang Gissami, Sanghan Dharanang Gissami.
Dutiyampi Buddhan Dharanang Gissami, Dutiyampi Dhamman Dharanang Gissami, Dutiyampi Sanghan Dharanang Gissami.
Buddhan Dharanang Gissami, Dhamman Dharanang Gissami, Dutiyampi Sanghan Dharanang.
Tatiyampi Buddhan Dharanang Gissami, Tatiyampi Dhamman Dharanang Gissami, Tatiyampi Sanghan Dharanang Gissami.
Tatiyampi Buddhan Dharanang Gissami, Tatiyampi Dhamman Dharanang Gissami, Tatiyampi Sanghan Dharanang Gissami.
Dharanagamanam Pariponam. So, Florence, what is the first precept? Try one. There are 5, so you have 20% chance that you'll be right. I think you didn't set your microphone in Zoom. You need to set it as your microphone. That's right, no killing. Panatipata Veramaniteka Padantamadhyami. So Yaza, what is the second precept?
No stealing.
Adaina dana veramani tekha padantamadiyami. Sandy, what is the third precept?
No adultery.
Okay, let's keep no sexual misconduct, because for adultery there may be I worry that adultery and cheating are different things. I think adultery is like when the man is not married and he has sex with a woman who's married with someone else. And cheating, I think, means that the person is married and they have sex with someone else. But for sexual misconduct, all of them are included. So let's keep sexual misconduct. Kame tu me sa sara vera manite ka padantamadiyami. So Alma, what is the fourth precept?
No lying.
Mutawada vera manite ka padantamadiyami. So Florence, can you tell us the fifth precept, both of its parts?
No drugs.
No drugs is one part, and the second part?
I don't know that.
Excuse me?
I don't know.
You don't know, so try to think. So we have no drugs and
No alcohol.
no alcohol, that's right. Dura me raya misapamada thana vera manite ka padantamadiyami. Dharanena tathenkin satilan dhamanta thukantura khidang katoa appamadena tampadetha. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you soon attain the eternal bliss of Nibbana. Very well. So let's move on to the stories right away. So, Alma. Okay, good. Alma, story 6.1, please. And then 6.2.
I'm still trying to get my notes, and it's loading.
Okay, so let's start with Florence, 6.3 and 6.4. Florence, did we meet when I was in Singapore about a week ago?
No.
Did you know that I was in Singapore?
No.
You didn't know it, right? Yeah, I was like thinking, oh, I didn't see you there. Okay. Yeah, I was in Singapore for a little visit, Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
Okay, I'm listening. Florence?
Yes. For 6.3, the teacher recommended
You will need to speak
elders
very, very loudly because I cannot hear you.
The teacher reprimanded Elder Chana several times for abusing other elders, but even after that, he continued doing so. The teacher says that only after he does, Elder Chana would stop. Charnock was punished, and after hearing about how the Buddha had died, he cried in sorrow and finally became an arahant.
Okay.
For 6.4, when 1,000 private Buddhas appeared, it was the king's wife and the people who offered them to remove and accommodated their needs instead of the king. Hence, they were reborn in a dispensation of the Buddha as householders of the.
I think you know what we have to do. This doesn't work. We'll make a little update to our classes. And that will be that we will be looking at the text that you're reading.
Okay. Do I share screen?
So let's look at 6.3. And I do not see it here in the Facebook. Did you upload it to Facebook?
Not yet.
Florence, did you upload your summaries into Facebook?
Hello? I haven't uploaded it yet.
You did not upload it yet? I see Caitlin's summaries, but I don't see yours. Do you know how to upload it to Facebook? Florence, do you know how to upload it to Facebook?
I can't find the post here.
Do you have access to the Facebook group?
Oh yeah, okay. I saw it. I see it now.
Do you have the link?
Yeah.
You have the link? Okay. You can go to there. You can join if you didn't join yet. Then you search the post, and then you need to just add it as a comment. All right. So this is from Caitlin. I do not see your comment. So what you need to do is that you find the post where you have the stories, and then you click here into the comment box, and then you need to write your name, then the number, and then the name of the story, always. Okay?
Okay.
So then it will be possible for me to show it to everybody, and you can read actually from there right away. So let's do the same thing for Aomao. So Aomao has 6.1 and 6.2.
Should I start reading now?
You can start reading.
Okay. 6.1. A poor man wins spiritual treasure. Before Venerable Radha became a monk, he was a poor Brahmin who performed duties for monks. The Brahmin wanted to be admitted into the order, but the other monks didn't want him to. But Elder Sariputta remembered the Brahmin's kindness and made a monk out of him. A few days later, the Brahmin attained arahantship after listening to his preceptor's instructions and was now known as Elder Radha. The Buddha explained that this is not the first time Elder Sariputta has shown his gratefulness.
And what happened then in the past life? Seems like that's missing.
I think Elder Sariputta was a elephant, and he gave his, son in return for healing for his foot.
Okay, that's good.
So
6.2. Yes, 6.2.
The insolent monks. There were 2 monks of the chief disciples who were shameless and wicked. The 2 monks caused so much misconduct, such as violating homes and making the monastery inhabitable to other monks. The Buddha, hearing this, was determined to expel them from the order. So he told the 2 chief disciples to expel monks who listened and expel monks who didn't listen and instruct monks who listened. I have a typo in there.
That's no problem. If there is a past story, a story from a past life, I would love to hear it. I would like to see it summarized, at least in one sentence, so that we know that it's there. Was there anything of that kind? Nothing about past life?
In 6.2?
Yep.
No.
Okay. So then, let's look at Sunday 6.5. Just wait for me. I will show it to everybody. 6.5 Sunday. So
Pandita the novice.
is there a second part?
The second part is a past story, but I wasn't sure how they connected, so I ended up putting them separate.
Okay. I'm listening.
Pandita the novice. The Buddha tells that when a man gives to others and urges others to give, he receives a blessing of wealth and a blessing of retinue. A man who hears this decides to strive for this merit. He offers alms to the Buddha and all 20,000 monks of his retinue, and invites his village to chip in. A poor man named Mahadugata joins as well, promising to offer alms to one monk, but the solicitor does not allot a monk as he doesn't see a point. The Buddha sees this and decides to go to Mahadugata and accept his alms. Saka, king of gods, goes down to help cook the meal for the merit. After the meal, Saka causes a rain of all 7 types of jewels to fill Mahadugata's house, and when the poor man gives the king these riches, he is granted the job of treasurer.
I don't think that he actually gave it to the king. I think it's the king who just found out that Dugata has it. But there is no reason why Dugata would be giving it to the king. Let's look at the text.
In the story, he kind of tells the king to please take the riches from him, because it just fills up his house and he literally can't go inside.
Yeah, I see. But, well, then probably the king didn't take all of that, right? So let's...
I think it was more of, can you store it for me kind of situation.
Aha. So that makes so much more sense.
I think I misunderstood.
Okay, let's look at the story. My computer is a little bit laggy. And somehow the computer gets laggy only when, or mostly when I'm recording the meetings. When I'm not recording the meetings, it's not laggy. So it seems like it's caused by the software OBS. But previously, OBS never did these problems. Previously, I would record with OBS and it was not laggy. So I'm wondering, why does that happen? But the truth is that I don't want to use another software either, because I think OBS is the best. So that's where I'm going through a little bit of suffering. Yeah, this is a very basic story and it's very good to know because Mahaduggata is a well-known person in Myanmar. And if you don't know who's Mahaduggata, you really don't know much about Buddhism. So you need to know that name very well. Okay? People sometimes talk about themselves as Mahado, which means Mahaduggata. All right, in Myanmar. If they're very poor but they want to donate. So the Sakka, yes, Sakka turned back, stopped at the door of Madhugata's house, and looked up at the sky. Thereupon there came down from the sky a rain of the 7 kinds of jewels. The jewels filled all the vessels in his house, and the very house itself. When there was no room left in the house, they took the children in their arms, carried them outside, and stood there. When Mahaduggata returned from accompanying the teacher and saw the children standing outside the house, he asked, "What does this mean? Our whole house is filled with the 7 kinds of jewels, in so much that there is no room to go in." Mahaduggata thought to himself, "Today have I received the reward of the alms I have given." Thereupon he went to the king, made obeisance, and then he said, "Your Majesty, my house is filled with the 7 kinds of jewels. Accept this wealth." Okay, all right, it's pretty good. Didn't notice it before. This very day, have the alms given to the Buddhas reached their consummation. And he said to the man, "What must you have to remove the jewels?" "Your Majesty, it will require 1,000 carts to remove all of this wealth." Well, then that would mean that his house was very big, so there's something wrong about this number. He would have to have a huge house in that case. So there's something not okay about this. The king sent out 1,000 carts and had the wealth removed and dumped in the palace court. Made a heap as high as a palm tree. Well, then that would not be 1,000 carts, right? Something is weird here. Then how big are, maybe if those carts were tiny little, then that would make sense. The king assembled the citizens and asked them, "Is there anyone in the city who possesses so much wealth as this?" And this is the point which made me to think that he did not give it. Do you see it, Sandy? Because if he gave it to the king, well, then the king would not be asking who possesses this much wealth, right? Because it's the king's wealth. Whereas because the king apparently did not accept it as his wealth, even if Mahaduggata gave it, well then we will have to say that it was not really given or it was not accepted by the king. There is not, Your Majesty, what ought to be done for a man possessed of so much wealth as this. So you see, the man is still possessed of that wealth. So that means that he either the king did not accept it, or maybe the translation is not accurate. He should be given the post of treasurer, so then he became the treasurer. Yes, then there is this amazing thing that he got a new place, you see. The king bestowed high honor up him and gave him the treasure. Then he pointed out the site of a house occupied by a former treasurer. All right, this is a very interesting thing. Then he pointed out the site of a house occupied by a former treasurer. And look at this, as the ground was being cleared and leveled, urns of treasure came to light with their brims touching each other. So Mahaduggata got these treasures. So even if Mahadugata gave that treasure of his home to the king, he actually got another treasure right away at another place. But it seems that even if he gave it to the king, apparently the king did not really accept it, because he still believed that it is actually owned by Mahadugata. So that was the point that I wanted to show. So it's a little complicated, and it definitely doesn't make much sense. But it's good for us to know, because we are looking at the scriptures, let's say, a little bit critically, so that we can understand them as they are meant, rather than as they seem to be. So let's continue to the second part.
For the second part, I edited one of the sentences to make it a little easier to read. I'll update it later, but yeah. So when I change it up a little bit, just know.
Okay.
Story of the present, Pandita, the 7-year-old novice. At 7 years old, Pandita asks his mother to become a monk under the elder. His mother agrees to it easily and prepares accordingly the honors appropriate of the occasion. On the 8th day of his stay, the elder and Pandita go to the village, and the novice sees many things that make him contemplate the question, why cannot also creatures who have reason bring their own reason under control and strive for the attainment of arahatship? He goes back to the elder's home and sat down, striving to gain knowledge of his body and master the thought of his own personality. Saka, king of gods, is alerted of Pandita's strive for arahatship and recruits the 4 great kings, moon deity and sun deity, to guard the home so Pandita remains undisturbed. The Buddha sees how the elder is coming back to give Pandita breakfast, so he asks him 4 questions to slow him down as the novice attains arahatship.
Yes, thank you very much. This is a very basic story, all right? Like, probably every monk and every devout Buddhist in Myanmar knows the story of Pandita, so I would like to recommend everyone to read the story 6.5. Thank you very much, and now let's move on to Yasa's summary. That's 6.6, so we'll find it out. 6.6 and 6.7. Okay, I'm listening.
Unshaken as a rock, 6.6. There were certain novices who bothered the elder monk. However, the elder showed no resentment towards them. The Buddha heard the novices talking about the elder and explained that those free from depravities show no anger and resentment, but are unshaken like a solid rock.
Yes, thank you. Please continue.
After the storm calmed, 6.7, a woman named Kana gave 4 cakes that were meant for her husband to 4 monks 4 times, and due to this, her husband found a new wife. For this, Kana blamed those monks and abused any monk she saw on the street. When the Buddha learned of this, he put a stop to her abuse. The king heard from the Buddha that Kana was now a mistress who transcended the world, and the king gave her a new husband who could provide for her. Kana then went on to constantly giving alms to every monk and nun she possibly could, and even then wished to give more.
So the Buddha actually resolved the problem. Oh, that's so good. Okay, I didn't know this story. That's nice. Unfortunately, today, probably it will not end up with a happy end like that. Okay, so thank you everyone for coming today. Does anyone have any question? Anything you'd like to tell me? Anything you'd like to ask? Any problems or unclear words. When you're reading these stories, you may notice some very special Buddhist jargon. So make sure you write down those words and ask me, because I can explain them to you. All right? Whatever it is you don't understand, I will probably understand. So just write it down and ask me. Okay? Then not only you, but also the others will find out the meaning. So then when you continue reading these stories, they will be clearer and clearer and clearer. Okay, so thank you very much for coming. May you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you be successful in everything you do.
Goodbye,
Venerable
Venerable
Sir.
Sir.
Honorable Sir.